H here. Time is nigh. The gates of hell are prying open. The box top is popped, and the Fruit Loops are rolling wild, young man. Once we spill the milk, it'll be game over. A soggy cereal. Excuse me, I'm a tad peckish this morning, but not as hungry as the beast in this case file I'm about to pour. To complete this nutritious breakfast, complete with fear and paranoia, to start your day off right. His name, Ralph Pendergrass, 35. Ralph was your typical American hunter, white, male, middle-aged, and a complete tourist in a land he never understood before his arrival. Location, somewhere in Oregon or Washington State, USA. Date, September 2020. Blood was the first thing Ralph Pendergrass was concerned with as he arrived in his designated hunting area along the northern Oregon forests off of State Line Road. His wife's blood was the furthest thing from his mind, and the reason he had gone on a solo hunting spree into the dense foliage of the great wild and woolly Northwest. But his own blood was of greatest concern to Ralph as he found himself at the end of his first day searching for stags and grizzlies, or anything impressive to put on his wall to impress friends, family, neighbors, or work buddies. You see, Ralph had the unfortunately myopic idea, as do most humans, that they are the apex predator of this world. As most, he felt either science-confirmed or God-granted to steward and slaughter whatever he wished, outside of human existence, naturally. How wrong he was. Ralph was running as fast as his aging flesh could handle. He threw aside bits of kit and garment to lighten the load and facilitate an escape from a monster that found him and stalked him, and now was chasing him through the labyrinthine woods in a hunt Ralph never had envisioned. At first, the beast made itself known by knocking against trees with large branches torn from above. Then it began thrashing about to make itself known. Ralph, eager to have the greatest prize possible on his wall, drew closer for the kill, until he noticed the shaggy brown bounty wasn't what he had expected. It stood up, and out of the undergrowth to reveal a 10-foot bipedal humanoid ape-type figure, without a head. Blood was running down from a wound on top of its chest, bright red, probably caused by a beheading of some sort. Yet this behemoth was still moving, functioning, and sensing, because it stood erect and slammed fists to its chest in a terrifying display of dominance. And then it lurched forward at superhuman speed to chase the hapless hunter. Ralph Pendergrass was in a race for his life. He desperately needed to find his car, or at least find a road and hope a passerby would come to his aid. He had emptied his double-barrel shotgun at the maniacal cryptid, but whether from lack of aim due to shock and insanity creeping over poor Ralph, or perhaps a thick skin on the creature, or perhaps ethereal protections, the hairy hellion advanced unabated. Soon, Ralph felt it mere feet behind him, then inches as its giant prehensile hands grasped desperately for him. And then it had him! Ralph's baggy gob gave the creature a quick advantage than Ralph had predicted, and he was yanked backwards to the beast. He struggled and twisted, but the massive hands swiftly got control of the human and gripped him firmly by the sides, arms pinned to his pelvic region. It lifted up Ralph high above its head. Except there wasn't a head. And Ralph could now see that the red on top of this headless horror wasn't blood at all, but bright red hair, matted and stringy, laying down as if dripping bodily fluid from the brutal wound. Slower, slower, the arms pulled Ralph over the top of this thing and behind its back until Ralph was upside down in its grip. Was this awful monstrosity going to bring him back down over its head and obliterate him on the forest floor? Was it to end his life and dine on his flesh? He braced for the worst, but the worst wasn't to come as he had expected. Ralph's eyes were squinted shut, waiting for the inevitable death blow. That never came. After a few seconds of hanging helplessly, upside down, Ralph decided to look. His eyes opened wide, looking in abject fear at the creature's broad buttocks. And then it happened. The buttocks split wide and a pale, cherubic face emerged outward toward Ralph. "Hello," it said with glee. "Good to see you." Ralph could do nothing else than watch as it addressed him with singularly perverse speech. "I'd be chuffed if you could direct me out of these woods. It'd mean the world to me." Don't look at me, everyone. I just aggregate these anecdotes from field study and research. Just let me say, beware. Never judge a book by its cover, or a monstrosity by its motility. Digest this, or purge likewise as you find necessary.
Like and subscribe before I die, and ring the little bell or you will surely go to hell.
Oh, we're telling spooky stories. This is not a spooky story. Oh, there's no way on the couch I can
it
sit.
depends how you look at it. It is kind of spooky.
I guess so.
Wait, that's it? That's the end of the story?
That is a